Hey, where are y'all going? We got a show to record.
I ain't recording with you, chump.
What'd you say?
Yeah, I mean, we gotta go do something.
Yeah, I'm gonna go vote for the governor for the future of our celebration station
Well,
and the rights of man.
I thought Celebration Station closed. Wait, there's an election?
Oh, yeah.
Who's running?
Well, I don't know who Matt Walsh is, and he said he ain't running for governor. But he had a banjo on his back on the video behind him when he said that. So I'm voting for him, boy.
Who?
Matt Walsh, you fool.
Yeah, I heard that. Who?
No, not the Who, you fool. Matt Walsh of the Eagles, Rocky Mountain Way, Funky 49ers, Rocky Mountain Spotters Fever.
No, that's the wrong guy. It's the guy from America's Most Wanted. Or America's Got Talent. One or the other.
Wait. I'm getting ahead of myself here. You guys can't vote. You're not old enough. Are you?
What kind of question is that? I don't know.
Shoot, boy, that don't matter. I got me a fake IP.
You mean like for the internet?
You dumb boy, I know to vote with. Look, check out my card. See, I'm an organ donor, even though I don't have many organs.
This is a picture of Christopher Walken.
Yeah, that's important because I told him to cross that out and put Christopher Rowland, and then cross that out and put Christopher Cross, and then cross that out and put Chris Tucker, and then cross that out and put Chris Tuckenroll. That way they know I had a hard time thinking about it, and, I really had to be serious about picking out my identity, and I really wanted it. And I'm serious is what I identify, and when you are serious, you are an adult, so you can vote.
When you say it that way, that's a really mature way of looking at things.
Okay, what about everybody else?
Here's mine.
This is a picture of Dr. Manhattan.
Well, of course it is. I mean, he may as well be my doppelganger. I think it's pretty accurate, I've been hit the gym really hard, get some reps in, baby. Like Lee Haney. See this? See these guns? See this?
Oh.
Rock hard. Go ahead, feel it. Feel it. Go ahead.
I am not feeling any appendages of you or Dr. Man. No, this is ridiculous. No.
What? Look, fine. It was either that or the leftover picture of Chris Tucker from the Meat Man's ID, okay?
What about you?
Oh, yeah, I got your ID right here.
This is just a picture of you flipping me off.
Yes, and it will stay that way until you are voted out of office.
But I'm not running.
Yeah, well, I'm not running either, you bully.
I'm not running either, I'm rolling.
These guns don't run from no one. See this? See it? Rock hard. Go ahead, Phil. Touch. Boulder shoulders.
Is anybody here talking about the same thing?
Just who do you think you are asking questions like that?
I don't know, I guess
It doesn't matter who you think you are asking questions like that. Because you could smell the Tex-Mex and candy.
I'm voting for Archibald Turnbuckle.
Do I even need to ask if that guy's still alive?
Of course he's still alive. What kind of stupid question is that? He's set records. He's in his prime. He's like Deion Sanders. He's his twin.
Yeah, well, you grandmas can vote for whoever you want, but I voted for Jerry Sadowski and the Window Laryngitis for Best Metal Band of the Year. Ugh.
Look, all this is stupid. Is there even an election?
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter. Look, if there is an election, they're not going to believe those are you.
Yes, they will.
Those IDs are not going to work.
They will. Look, you just had to be there, okay?
Yeah.
Our source guaranteed it.
And they're called IPs.
Well, who's up next to get an ID? Your mom's up next to get an ID.
Okay, step up here, drink cup. You ready for the picture?
Oh, yeah, here's your picture right here.
Stick up our middle finger. Okay, good. Who's next?
I can't wait to go vote. I got so much adrenaline running through my veins, baby. I'm going to meet so many chicks in that vote line.
No, you're really
Check out these
not.
guns. See 'em? Rock hard. Don't run from nobody. I've been working out hard, baby.
Look, I don't care. Look, do you want the leftover Christopher Cross or the leftover Chris Tucker, or do you want something else entirely?
You got anything that would appeal to the ladies?
Well, I do have one thing, but I'm not sure that you'll match. Well, you know what? We can use it. Yeah. Let's see.
Hey, that's like looking at my twin. He might be my long-lost brother.
Hey, Leroy Hanson, you think maybe you could change around to say Christopher Tuckenroll instead of Christopher Rowland or Christopher Walker, Texas Ranger, whatever you say, because I want to be serious about my identity to where people know that I'm serious, and when you're serious, you're an adult, and you can vote.
When you put it that way, that's
adult
a really
obligation.
mature way of looking at things.
Okay, guys, I really don't know why we're arguing over this. There is no election.
Hey, why don't you shut your face? You're always coming out of nowhere to poop our party.
That's fine. I still can use my IP for my senior citizens discount because I got to go to Croc Me Amadeus for some new Crocs for my feet.
You don't have feet.
I don't help you.
Look what you did now. Oh, there, buddy. It's okay. Don't worry. We'll go get you some new placebo feet. Yeah.
Are they real?
Who cares?
Hey, that might be a good commercial idea.
Oh, yeah. Good job, bud. Hey, before we go, other guy, we need you to play one of our songs. You understand? You
Trying to
better
bully
play
me?
it. You hear me? You see these?
Get quit.
Okay, fine. Look, just play it. Okay, play the song.
No. What? You think you're just going to come in here and just take control?
Yes.
What, you think you paid all the money for this equipment? I
No.
don't think so.
Well,
I don't think so. What do you...
well,
No, go do your little placebo foot
what
thing.
you think you're so bad? You ain't so bad, man. You ain't so bad. You know what? We're bad. We last week we took a trip to what's that bad part of Kentucky that you was talking about the other day, me man?
Kentucky?
Yeah, Kentucky. Yeah. You think you're bad? We've been through there. So kiss it.
Yeah, we been through Kentucky.
By the way, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is give me that microphone. Give me that. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening live. This is the other guy. I can't do it all the way. Here, me man, you do it. You sound more like him.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. That was the Rob Master. That was a Metal Minute.
Waiting for the sun to come up again. Waiting. Manifestations of your failures within. Cause deep down inside you only wanted to show that you're worth their time, not some part of a joke. Confidence is key to hold your head up again. Waking from the pub dream that shaped your feelings within. Cause you've got a fire and it's dying to burn, but the impatient heart tells it's the spirit to yearn.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there will now be a 20-minute interval. During this time, you are able to purchase hot and cold drinks, candy floss, popcorn, flashing lights, and a range of souvenirs. If you'd like to purchase something, please remain in your seats and raise your hands. One of our sellers will come to you.
I know this, but I got
Oh, why must you torture me with slogans from the golden days?
Things are in motion that can't be undone.
The golden days, the golden days, the golden days.
Can't be undone.
I gotta say, that was a very moving review. I got a tear in my eye. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah, so what do you think about that?
How much time did you waste on that?
About as much time as you waste on your podcast.
Yeah.
Put me up, try and give him a high five.
I'm almost done gone now.
Well, I guess you got me there. What's with all the echo on your track?
You know, the galaxy was calling.
What kind of mumbo jumbo?
Well, you know, I reached out to the universe, the galaxy, you know, the collective, the ethosphere, you know.
The what?
The galaxy.
What is the ethosphere?
Shut up, look at me. I don't know what it was, but it was calling, so I answered. Do you know what it's like to have the phone ring all day, and then you pick it up and some guy says, "Hello, sir, we are calling about no extended car warranty." And then you try to tell them that you don't drive a car, but you rock a golf cart, but they don't listen. Do you think they listen? They don't listen. What are they? They just listen for you. They don't listen. They just keep yammering on. Well, the galaxy was trying to do that, so I just answered instead of letting it ring.
And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to the show that keeps giving you the things that you don't want at the time that you most likely don't want them, roughly every 2 weeks. This is just a regular show about the regular show. I'm your host, that one guy with the weird name. Nobody cares. Let's get into it. And to kick off getting into it this time, I'm going to acknowledge that I realize that we're not actually live when, I should say I'm not actually live when I record. But, you know, like Nacho Libre says, sometimes adults need to dress up in costumes and run around and fight each other to feel good about themselves or something, just for fun. Well, sometimes I need to pretend that I'm on live radio just for fun, I guess. I don't know. Okay, so the episode today is Cruisin'. And I'll just go ahead and tell you, I don't know what to think about this episode because I haven't seen it in so long. I usually skip it. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a filler episode, but I guess I have the mindset that it is. It doesn't seem to have like that novelty factor that some episodes have. You know, like they're not going into a graveyard and zombies aren't attacking them or whatever. But I'm sure there are some redeeming qualities this episode because it's been like that for pretty much every episode we've watched, except for maybe Meet Your Maker. Oof. I don't know. I just genuinely don't care for that episode. I know what this episode's roughly about, though. I just tend to kind of gloss over it when I do my watch throughs anymore. But I'm going to watch through it again today, and I'm hoping that we find something that is, worth the while. I guess before we get into that, the life updates, I'm snowed in and Russians are running low. That's okay, though. I don't know if I sounded like a king in a stronghold there. I'm really not. Anything but a king. I'm more like the pauper. Whatever. Let's see. Yesterday recorded a Spidey Saturday with Rob Luther. It's very rare that podcasting ahead of time is ever genuine, but it was on a Saturday, so I guess that's a win. What have I watched through? I've watched through the Goosebumps series that came out like last week, I guess. I'm not sure exactly when, but with David Schwimmer. It'll been out for a while now. You hear this, but that's okay. I feel like going back and watching something, and maybe you might like it. I like the first season better. They've went with like an anthology type approach. I don't know if there are any actors that crossed over from the first season. But But yeah, it's a completely different plot premise, and it's still the same type of storytelling devices though, where like they each episode is loosely inspired. When I say loosely, I mean very loosely inspired by one of the Goosebumps books. Basically the titles are the same, like Monster Blood or The Haunted Car or whatever, and really not much else is. Well, I mean, I guess there has to be some similarities, but it's a long shot from being exactly like the book, and that's okay. I really like how the first season pulled that off. I guess this one, I didn't like this season quite as well. There were some. I say that, and I watched it all in 2 days. I mean, so I guess they were doing something right, but something just some of the storytelling just kind of felt not as together as you would think it would be. There were just a lot of unexplained things, and that's okay too. I mean, that's not a big deal, but I guess I was expecting something different. It's really, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's, award winning by any means, but, what does that even mean anymore? But, it's definitely not my top 10, but it was, 8 episodes. It's good for what it was. There's always going to be stuff that you can nitpick in shows and things that you don't agree with, and, agendas that are pushed and whatnot. And that's just part of TV anymore, I guess. But whatever. Watched that, and seems like there was something else, but I can't remember. My gosh, that comic, the Spider-Man that we read yesterday, just completely wiped my mind. I guess it was just too much to concentrate on. That, and I've been up till like 4 a.m. every night because that's a story in itself. We don't need to get off on that topic. It's not therapy session. So let's, I guess, go ahead and. Oh wait, no, I do know what I need. Real quick, haven't heard anything new about the King of the Hill series, but the regular show lost tapes, and this is probably old news. But well, this is definitely old news by the time you hear it. But I've just been forgetting to talk about this in the past few episodes. At this point in time, the lost tapes the logo came out either today or yesterday. The bottom of it's like red, and it's got some. I think that's the official logo. Either that or somebody on social media was lying, which flip a coin. But it's supposed to be 44 episodes is what the contract is for, I think. So 44 episodes of the regular show. Looking forward to that. Like I said, I'll never be finished with this podcast, or will I? Who knows? After reading Spider-Man yesterday, it's a page where he's like, why do I do this? I feel I must. With great podcasting comes great responsibility. Whatever. Yeah, I guess it probably is time to move on into the episode, though, because I've probably run my mouth for way too long on these things. So let's go ahead and get started. So Cruisin is episode 10, I believe, of season 3. It aired November 28, 2011 in the US and September 3rd, 2012 in the UK. 2.17 million viewers. Age rating TV PG. So the plot, or the synopsis, I guess I should say, Mordecai and Rigby try to get a girl's number by cruising, get out of paying for a fancy dinner with Margaret and Eileen. So it's one of those bet episodes, We've had those before, or at least plots that involve that before. This went up against, I think, a couple episodes of Adventure Time, The Duke, and then Donnie. So they were like too many episodes, I guess, which all the episodes of Adventure Time are same length. I don't know what I'm saying. Most of them are. The Duke involves, I think they chase down a guy that gets blamed for something. I'm not sure. It's Bubblegum is on some kind of. She's mad, and Finn and Jake are like trying to cover up for themselves. It's one of those type episodes. And the other one is Donnie, and it involves like this bully, this obnoxious guy that he's a real jerk. I honestly, neither one of those episodes really does a whole lot for me. And actually, scanning through the Cartoon Network line up at least the Adult Swim the night before. King of the Hill episode is actually one that it's the courtship of Joseph's father. It's the one where Joseph is really good at football, so a private school wants him to go there, or all these schools are fighting for him to come play middle school football for him. And Dale's like, getting all the benefits of it. They're taking him out to dinner and all this stuff. I mean, it's not a bad episode, but it's one that it's probably not even in my top 50 episodes of King of the Hill. So, and then the Aqua Teen episodes are all season 1, and they're actually some pretty good ones with the Bus of the Undead and Mayhem of the Moon Knight. So those are both pretty good. I would say that the first Moon Knight episode's the weakest of the Moon Knight bunch, though. But whatever. This, I don't know. It kind of seems like it's a, I don't want to say a dead evening, but, certainly there have been stronger lineups in the past. I don't know about this episode of regular show, though. So let's go through here and look at all the credits. Directed by Mike Roth, written and storyboarded by Benton Connor, Toby Jones, and Calvin Wong. So those are good storyboarding teams right there. I mean, that seems to be the winning formula with this show, at least in my eyes. Now, the featured voices, my goodness, there are a bunch. There's so many that, like, the screen's almost cutting them off. Mordecai, Detective Number 1, Snowman is J.G. Quintel. Rigby, Detective Number 2, and Pony Boy, William Sawyers. I didn't know we were doing the Outsiders here. Pops, Manslaughter is Sam Marin. Margaret, Girl 1, Girl 3 is Janie Haddad Tompkins. And Eileen and Girl 2 is Minty Lewis. Additional voices, Bloodshed, Announcer, and Criminal is Julian Holloway. We have our Sixth Ranger, Roger Craig Smith, doing Chad and Tuck. And then Courtney Taylor, Trash Scabatha, and Girl Number 4. Scabatha. Courtney Taylor. Very good at voicing Starla. Anyway, Starla's not in this episode, but whatever. Let me see if there's anything else I need to read here. Production notes, episode connections. There's really not a whole lot of trivia even, so I may as well get that out of the way. That character Scabatha I mentioned made a reappearance in season 4 in the episode Pie Contest. I remember that. I'm promised pie. I will win for you. Yeah. Wait a sec. No. Wait, is that? I guess that it would be season 4. Yeah. For some reason I was thinking that was like season 7, but no, that's the chili cook-off that I'm thinking of. Yes, Promise Pie. That's or Pie Contest. That's season 4. J.G. Quintel confirmed that he had named the episode after an episode of Rocko's Modern Life. Okay. And this episode received 2.172 million views worldwide. Alrighty. That's about all we got before we get into it. So, without further ado, here we go. So the episode starts out with birds chirping, and we also hear cars cruising, excuse me, with an apostrophe. How poetic. So they're at the coffee shop, the guys are, and the first thing, or we hear an announcer, and now we return to Crime City Detective Cops 2, which, it's just like the most generic title, and it's great. It's like a late 60s, early 70s, cop type thing. But they, two guys, they're Crime City Detective Cops, of course. In this brown car, it's a convertible. I don't know what it is. They've got the top down, pull up, and it's like obviously like the human analog to Mordecai and Rigby. They're wearing jackets. One's blue, like the Blue Jay, and then the other one's brown. And the one that has Rigby, he's got they both have handlebar mustaches. I guess that's what they would be called. And they're connected to sideburns, and they got the comb over, and they both got glasses on. And they pull up and hey, ladies, and they're talking to these two ladies on the side of the street. I don't know if they represent Eileen and Margaret or not, like if they would be considered that or not. But this is a very 70s type thing. But did you notice something about our license plate? It's missing some numbers. So how about you give us yours? And And they're both like, oh, and one of them's like, and bam, that is how you get a number. It's a little bit more in depth than that, but it's as ridiculous as it sounds. And then you see Margaret and Eileen with their hands on their hips looking at the TV going, what? That's ridiculous, something like that. And Mordecai and Rigby are like, whoa, that was awesome. Eileen and Margaret are like, that, I can't believe you guys think that's awesome. That was chauvinistic and inaccurate, is what Eileen says. Not only is it chauvinistic, it's inaccurate. And Mordecai says, I don't know. I heard it was based on a true story. So it's like, I don't, what true story of what? And he goes, Eileen. Rigby says, yeah, Eileen, if that show has taught us anything, and it certainly has, it's that all a guy needs to get a chick's number is some wheels. And Eileen kind of scratches her arm, or she rubs her arm. She goes, I don't know, Rigby. You could just ask a girl. And then Rigby says, Eileen, don't be so naive. That would never work. So, yeah, and Mordecai says, yeah, it's a fact. That would never work. And Rigby says, I can't tell you how many times I've almost gotten a girl's number, and then some guy comes up in some muscle car and just takes her away from me. And they kind of laugh. And Mordecai says, what, so you're saying that you wouldn't give us her number if we pulled up in some nice wheels? And Margaret says, you would never get a girl's number cruising. And he goes, and then Rigby jumps up and says, yeah, well, let's make a bet then. And they said, fine. So basically it breaks down to if Mordecai and Rigby can get some girl's number or two girls' number, whatever, driving around, that Margaret and Eileen, sorry, I said Mordecai, Margaret and Eileen will buy the other two dinner, and vice versa. So if they lose, they got to buy them dinner. But Eileen says, I hope you like buying filet mignon and lobster or something like that. Rigby's response to that is, hope you like buying unlimited corn dog bar. So it's that's truly Rigby. And Mordecai's like, did you see that? They were totally flirting with us. And he's like, no way. And so they go about explaining, and Mordecai goes about explaining everything. And Rigby's like, I thought we were supposed to be direct about things. And Mordecai says, you'll learn one day. And then Rigby says, I was just in it for the free meal. So the scene cuts and they go back to the good old Two Peaks Mall. So once again, I don't know if that is Back to the Future homage or Twin Peaks. I'm not sure. But let's see what happens here. So the whole mall scene is there are a bunch of guys in cars, like just lined up along the side of the mall and in the parking spots and everything. And women are just coming along and they're like writing their numbers on the guys' arms. It's like they're in a line. And, it really is ridiculous. Like, they're walking up alongside the cars and guys just got their arms hung out the car and they're writing their numbers on their arms with lipstick. And that's for the dudes in the parking lot with the women peering through their windows. That seems to be, I don't know if they're making commentary on something of ill repute there or what. But anyway, back to Mordecai and Rigby. They drive up in the golf cart and they say, oh, yeah, get some digits, get some dinner. Just Mordecai's always got something. I don't know if that's clever or it just, I don't know, mnemonically sounds good or I don't know. But, typical Mordecai fashion. And surprise, surprise, Margaret and Eileen are standing on the curb at the mall and said, so beans you're buying, is it okay if we pick whatever restaurant we want? And yeah, sure, that's fine. What about Il Costas or I don't know. And Rigby says, isn't that the real fancy place, the real expensive one with the napkins? And so, yeah, they concur and they're like, okay, that's fine. Well, is it okay if we bring our dates too? Oh, yeah, that's fine too. So now they really know they got to win because, we can't afford this. And we get a montage scene next. So the first part, some woman comes up and she's writing a number on a paper and it looks like she's going to give it to Mordecai and Rigby. But all she's doing is she's using it's not even the hood. It's the front of the card is something hard to write on, with a pen. And then she goes over there and over there, like you can see where I'm pointing. Yeah. She goes to left of cart on screen to a guy in a dune buggy or, something like that. And I don't know really what that thing is. It's some big old side-by-side pop contraption. I don't know. She gives the number to him. Like, and then they start following this lady down the street and she starts running away from him with high heels and she jumps on this car onto a helicopter and flies off, which, that's crazy, but whatever. And they're like, oh, man. And then this this black car was by, and these two women with I don't know how they kind of look like a couple people from like the game Shadowrun. Like they got the purple mohawk and the leather on and the nose rings, all that. They're like, hey, losers, good luck getting numbers with a cart like that. And I don't know. They had some kind of accent. I don't know. And the guys decide this is never going to work. We need a different ride. So scene cuts to Pops washing and waxing his car, who we now learn is named Carmenita. And he's got some sort of, sounds like Glenn Miller. It's not, but, some sort of big band orchestra type sentimental music playing on a Victrola. Really cool, classy stuff. And he's like, oh, I do love a bet, so he's going to let him borrow the car. And they get in there like, cool, great. Pop says, now, Mordecai, you do know how to drive a stick, right? And he goes, oh, yeah, sure. And then Rigby says, well, hey, what are those gears for? And it's this different gear shift, and it's got these weird symbols on it. And Pops is like, those are Carmenita's special gears. I'd advise you not to touch them. Carmenita's special parts should only be operated. He says Carmenita's special parts should only be manipulated by a professional. It's hilarious coming from Pops. That's one of those, I don't know, double entendres there, I believe, but, or innuendo, one or the other. I'm not sure, but, yeah, it's pretty good stuff. We're kind of, that put me in mind of something King of the Hill, but I'm going to stay on topic here and move on. So we now make it back to Twin Peaks Mall, 3:52 p.m. Let's see what goes down. So, of course, they waste their time by driving up to Margaret and Eileen and like, hey, check out our sweet ride. And the only thing we'll be checking out is and then they pull out a menu from Il Custoso's or whatever. They start reading off items that are like $35. And then the Kobe braised something other, all a gold leaf, or I don't know what she's even saying, but $41. And Mordecai goes, you'll fill up on bread. And he points at her, which is, that one got me. Like when I saw that, I said, yeah, that's a pretty good one. And then you hear, or you see these two guys come up, walk by, hey, these two guys giving you trouble, Margaret and Eileen. And, oh, no trouble at all. And they go, Mordecai, Rigby, Chad Iron Chest. And then Eileen goes, Tuck Packard. Which that name is great. I don't know why, but Tuck Packard. That whoever thought that one up needed a raise over there. But Chad Iron Chest is pretty good too. But they're, I guess they're supposed to be muscular. They don't really look it. I mean, they look like a guy that goes on a bulk at the gym when he really doesn't need to be on a bulk. Like there's obviously some kind of muscle there, but it's like, really, man? Like you're bulking when you don't even, I don't know. But I've seen it a bunch, though. They're like, yeah, I just need to add me about 20 pounds of muscle, and it's never 20 pounds of muscle. It's 2 pounds of muscle and 18 pounds of fat, but whatever. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just they got in a hurry drawing him, especially Tuck Packard. Chad Iron Chest, I guess. I don't know why I'm even breaking this down and analyzing this, whatever. Maybe it's the glasses on Tuck Packard that makes him look a little bit more, not as masculine, I guess. I don't know. They do skip leg day, though, that's for sure. But, yeah, let's see what this is all about. They're like, oh, Mordecai and Rigby. And so let's see what they have to say. So they're like, oh, these are the guys. Man, it's so nice of you to buy us for dinner and so he puts his hand out to shake it. And it's just like, they've been just told that they've lost already, or, I don't even think they know about the bet. I don't know. Or at least you're kind of made to believe that. So Mordecai flies off, and like, this is more something out of like early Cartoon Network. You've just seen the scenery behind you, just like, going by really fast. And it's a shot of their faces, though. And Mordecai's like gritting his teeth, and he's like, must find numbers. So they try a few other opportunities there on the street. They drive up to some women and they go, we lost our numbers. Can we have yours? And they laugh and they pull up like 10 feet to the next pair of women and they say, they're like, Mordecai's like, so are you angels? And then they laugh and walk off. And they go across to the next side of the street. They go, we really need to win a bet. So, and then she laughs and walks off. And then they park the car or the scene wipes and they're in the parked car and the sun is about to go down at Two Peaks Mall. And dude, this is bad. This is really bad. And what are we going to do? I don't know. We need, I can see it in your face, and Rigby's like, what's wrong with my face? And he goes, what do they have that we don't? And they go, oh, self-confidence. Hang on, follow my lead. And Mordecai wipes his hand over his face and he has this like really, ingenuine, confident grin, I guess. And Rigby does the same. And then he through his teeth, he says, dude, this isn't going to work. No human smiles like this, And right when he says that, those two women with the Shadowrun women, they get in the car with him and they're like, hey, you guys look pretty confident. So we just figured, they said something like that. And okay, what's your names? And this is Trash and Scabatha. And the sun has went down now. So they start to, I don't know where they're driving, but they're driving somewhere. And you can see two people in a car with a license plate that says murder on it or Mr. Durr. They're obviously Trash and Scabatha's boyfriends, and they're following Mordecai and Rigby as they're driving at nighttime. So you can probably tell, probably a chase scene is going to come up. So turns out the two guys' name is bloodshed and manslaughter. And Rigby's like, these girls are scaring me. And Mordecai says, dude, we just need their numbers, seal the deal. And Rigby says, how do you guys feel about phones? Or how do you ladies feel about phones? And then they say, are they watching? So they're looking in the rearview mirror to see if bloodshed and murder or manslaughter is watching. And they are. And, it's the typical, slow down the car. Why? Just slow it down. Hey, look, we're having fun with our new boyfriends now. And they're, I think those guys are looking for trouble. And Mordecai waves and says, no, I don't even want your girlfriend. And Rigby says, yeah, we just want their number. And the guys are like, okay, you're dead, blah, blah, blah. And they start ramming the back of Carmenita, which is such a travesty. Carmenita is such a nice car. But, Rigby's like, dude, go faster. And he's like, I can't. This is fast it'll go. And it looks like it's going like 40 miles an hour on the speedometer, which is kind of crazy because like they were driving very frantically earlier. Mordecai was. So, and Rigby's like, okay, well, the special gears, whatever. And Mordecai's like, dude, no, Pop said not to touch it. But then bloodshed and manslaughter start ramming Carmenita more. And it's like, Pop also said not to destroy the car, probably, or at least he implied that. Rigby says, I'm going for it. And he pulls it, and Carmenita's special gear kicks in, I guess. And Carmenita lifts off the ground and starts to fly. And they're hovering above them, or not hovering, but they're flying above them. And Mordecai, and he takes off. And it's like, okay, that's pretty cool. Pop's special car, it's Carmenita. Actually, Carmenita's used a decent bit throughout the show. One of the cool things that Pops has, it's one of the things that's kind of associated with him that kind of makes his character pretty unique. Now, he had the taxi before, but I think Carmenita is, I think this is the first appearance of Carmenita. I'm not sure, 100% sure about that, but the first time we hear the car's name at least. So you think, hey, they're going to be okay, but then bloodshed and manslaughter, two can play at that game, and he just turns a dial on the radio, and his car shoots out flames and starts flying and follows them. And so they're flying through the clouds and everything, and bloodshed and manslaughter's like ramming the side of, hitting them in the side and stuff, and Trash and Scabatha are just like agging it on. So let's see what we go through here. So actually a lot happens here, but it's pretty much what you'd expect. So I'm not going to describe it all, but some of the highlights, Trash and Scabatha tell bloodshed and manslaughter that those boneheads are not their boyfriends. They just wanted to make them jealous. That happens at the end, but there's this whole sequence where they're trying to outmaneuver and all this, and the Trash and Scabatha start messing with Carmenita's special gears, and that opens up the trunk, and some croquet mallets and balls fall out the back onto Lord knows what. But and then they hit another one, and it pops open the hood, and that flies back. And then a plane. Well, scene actually cuts to Eileen and Margaret talking, and Eileen's like, "You don't think Rigby thinks that Tuck Packard's my boyfriend, do you?" And so what if he does? Blah blah blah. A little jealousy. Blah blah blah. And this is really a kind of a turn. Maybe not even a turn, but like an insight into the character of Margaret so far. There's a point when the character of Margaret actually almost completely does a 180. Well, I don't even know about that, but there is an event that happens. I'm not going to give it away, but post that event, Margaret is a different character than before that event. Right here, she's kind of seen as or depicted as, I really don't know what word I would use. But anyway, so they say, "Hey, look, an airplane." No, not a dog barking like you probably just heard, but hey, an airplane. And the airplane is headed right for, we cut back to Mordecai and Rigby trash scab the bloodshed and manslaughter, the two cars. So they split apart, and something happens where Trash and Scab, they're just beating the crap out of Rigby this whole time because he's trying to stop them from messing with Carmenita. And they do something, and the engine falls out, and they start falling. And as they're falling, Trash and Scab, they're still like in free fall, hitting Rigby in the head. Two guys come by and pick them up, and Rigby and Mordecai are still falling, but they're buckled into, I think they're buckled into Carmenita. They got buckled in, maybe, I don't know. And you think they're going to hit the ground, but they pull the gear one more time, and like these bat wings pop out of the side, and they start like hang gliding down. And then they just kind of look at each other and nod, like, yeah, we got this now. And then they turn back, and there's a tree right there, and they run right into it. Now, this is kind of Looney Tune-esque. I mean, the face that Mordecai makes in this, he squinches up his face. Like when they realize that the engine dropped out and they're going to be falling. It's not quite as like over the top and hyperbolic as Looney Tunes, where like they just realize they're falling and they drop straight down. But like the squinched up face that Mordecai makes, I mean, that's really kind of Daffy Duck, Wile E. Coyote type, that kind of stuff. And then also the tree coming at them from like a first person point of view, you see the tree coming closer to the screen. That's kind of Looney Tunes like too. But then it zooms out and you see a side view of them running into the tree, and that's probably even more hilarious because it just like it's just all at once, and I don't know, something about the visual. It's not, I shouldn't say hilarious, but it does crack me up. So that's a little bit different from what you would see Looney Tunes. So I think there's some inspiration there. But then there's also Rockwell's Modern Life was mentioned in the wiki page. I could see perhaps something from that too. But anyway, that tree they hit was like right in front of where Margaret and Eileen are sitting, just coincidentally. So yeah, we're close to the end of the episode here. Let's see how it goes. So they run over there like, "You guys all right?" And Mordecai and Rigby land on the ground. And Mordecai's like, "Oh, you were right. Cruisin's the worst way to pick up chicks. And look, we'll buy you dinner, but can we at least get your number to where we're going to reschedule for tomorrow? I think we got to go to the hospital." Not to mention Pops' car is just like, I don't know how Carmenita recovered, but she looked totaled. Well, maybe not totaled. I don't know. But anyway, they're like, "Oh, you poor thing, sure." And Margaret writes down her number and gives it to Mordecai. And Rigby jumps up and says, "We got a girl's number." And Mordecai says, "Oh, we did. It's a free dinner." "Oh, what? You tricked us, And they're like, "Well, at least let us pick the spot." And they said, "Okay, name it," or something like that. And he said, "Best sandwiches in town." So of course it's the coffee shop. And so it cuts to that scene, and they lay down some sandwiches and I guess fries for Mordecai and Rigby. They're like, "Aren't you guys going to eat, or aren't you two going to eat anything?" They say, "No, we eat the sandwiches all the time." I actually thought they were going to do something to the sandwich, put laxatives in or something. I don't know. But no, they weren't laced with anything. I guess the sandwiches were of reputable quality. But anyway, as they're talking, we get that same announcer from the beginning, and now back to fighter pilot digit jockeys or something like that. And it's kind of like a Top Gun type thing. I mean, the fighter plane lands, and then the top of it pops open. hey, ladies. And they don't even ask for the number. They just shoot a missile that says party. And like these two, like, kind of uptight looking secretary women or something, they're kind of dressed like that, or, you know, like, I don't know, some sort of position of, some sort of organized position. I don't know. But the missile hits them, blows up, and then it turns into like there's all these women in bikinis on the beach dancing, and they're all partying. Mordecai and Rigby look over at Eileen and Margaret, and they go, "Don't even think about it." And that's how it ends. So the ending's actually, I don't know, that little callback's pretty good. So yeah, I guess honestly, this episode, the significance of it is the first introduction of Carmenita, at least being named. And Carmenita's like, I talk about Carmenita as a living being, but the ability for Carmenita to fly, I don't know how else that would be described, but Carmenita has flying capabilities, and that's used at least one more time, but I'm pretty sure a few more times in the series. Kind of comes in key a few times. So, you know, it's kind of like when they call Carmenita to the party, you know, things are getting serious when, you know, things are starting to hit the fan. Other than that, I don't think there's anything too major important to like character development. This is kind of, I think, like almost like filler episode. Probably would be considered a filler episode, but I mean, the beginning and end were strong. And there wasn't necessarily anything bad about this. Like, there's things bad about like Meet Your Maker that I don't like. This one is, you know, it's not great, and it's not bad. I wouldn't say it's a strong episode. I'd probably give it a rating of, I don't know, like a 5 or a 6, something like that. It's not. It's short. I mean, all these episodes are what, 12 minutes long. So it's not like it's a chore to watch. It's you know, it's all right. It's this I will say that this night on Cartoon Network would have not been I probably would have felt like it was a little bit of a letdown if I would have invested a whole night into watching all the cartoons that came on this night. But not to say it's bad. It's just, you know, you get your hopes up, brand new episode. Will it be the last time I watch this episode? Probably not. But you know, it's not. I'm trying to remember what the last episode was. I just had it pulled up too. It was not the Cool Box one. No, that's not the one I'm thinking. I'm thinking of the Night Owl, the one with the scenery, the white scenery there at the end, where they jump back into the time machine or whatever it is. That is just cool imagery. But oh gosh, what is House Rules? This is a block, probably House Rules, Cruisin. I would honestly say that House Rules, Cruisin, and then the next episode, Under the Hood, might be maybe the weakest episodes of season 3. None of them are as bad as Meet Your Maker. I'll just go ahead and get that out of the way. And I wouldn't even really say that any of them are bad. They're all probably 5s. Maybe. It's been a while since I've seen Under the Hood, though. I do remember what that one's like. I do skip over that one because I feel like the villain is a little bit of a throwaway, not to deter you from listening to the show next time or from watching that episode, because I may be completely wrong. It has to do with graffiti, though. You know, honestly, this episode, I think it could have just been better executed. It's like, you don't have to have a really novel episode, I don't think, if the execution of all the jokes are done really well. And they kind of had it in parts here with the Looney Tunes type stuff and the frantic driving and the names, but it was missing something. And I think maybe it was just the inclusion of a lot of the other characters. They had all these side characters, but none of the main cast, and that's fine. It's just this time it didn't hit as well as it could have, I think. So yeah, I guess in summary, not a super big letdown, but you know, maybe if this were baseball, maybe the batter got walked, maybe, and it may be a strikeout. I don't know. Maybe a fly ball that got caught. I don't know. Definitely not a home run. The next episode, Under the Hood, I already talked about that one. Now, after that one, we get a fantastic episode, a very novel episode, Weekend at Benson's. And if you are an 80s movies fan, which is one of the best things about this series, when it makes callbacks to 80s movies, makes a callback to 80s movies, I should say. Subject verb agreement, pal. But Weekend at Benson's is obviously a play on Weekend at Bernie's, and it's, man, it's an episode. Is it the best of season 3? Probably not, but it's definitely good. It's a very memorable episode. I will put it that way. It's a Benson episode, and some of the Benson episodes are some of the best episodes. It always, shouldn't say always, but a lot of times it involves him getting just like inebriated or something, to the point where, you know, this one is a little bit different of a setup though. Yeah, but it's great. It's fantastic. Fortune Cookies after that. Think Positive. That one's a pretty popular episode. It's not one that I really, it's definitely not, well, I don't know. That one's got some memorable moments on it. I'll put it that way. Now, Butt Dial, I remember that one. Pretty good. And probably the best episode of season 3. Now, about every other episode, we have like a fantastic episode in season 3. And then we have it where it's like pretty much every episode there for a while. So we get a good chain like we did in season 2. But Excellent is one of the best episodes in the series. I've talked to Rob. I'm going to see if he'll come on the show to review that one. Can't make any guarantees, but I would like to see what somebody else thinks about that episode, because that episode won an award. Very good episode. Very well and thought out, I think. So, yeah. And Video Game Wizard. Play on once again, the 80s movie, The Wizard. Anyway, I'm rambling on like I should not be doing. So, if you want to contact the show, you can get a hold of us at texmexandcandy@gmail.com. TEXMEXANDCANDY, texmexandcandy@gmail.com. I think there's a hotline number, or you can leave a voice message on the Anchor FM app or the Anchor FM website if you go follow the link, search for us or whatever. Would love to get some emails from you to hear what you all think. If you want a review of the show that you say to be put on the show, or if you would like for us to read. Well, there's only one of us that can really read. Well, I mean, there's another one that can read, but there's a couple of them that can read. But if you want me to read the review, or if you want me to tell somebody else what to say to read your review, I'll be happy to. We'll use as many takes as we need. And also, if you would leave a written review or share the show, anything to help increase the algorithm. I think I got one more follower, but I'm not quite sure how reliable that is. But I actually, real quick, I looked at my 2024 wrapped up thing, and I only have literally like 32 followers, but it was very surprising to see that it was like, I think 10 people, I'm the most listened podcast. I'm the number one podcast that they listen to. Now, I don't even think that includes me, because I don't listen on Spotify or whatever. So whoever you 10 people are, thank you. I really needed to see that. I think that's, I know it's only 10 people, but, just the fact that I guess 10 people find this entertaining enough to listen to, primarily, at least on Spotify, makes me feel like I'm not crazy. Something, I don't really know how to put that into words. Of course, probably am crazy, but, there for a brief moment, it was like, wow, I'm not the only one that has, um, the taste that I do, I guess. I don't really know, or I'm not the only one that, at least somebody, doesn't think what I do is crap, I guess. That's pretty cool. Um, so thanks. And, I can probably guess who a few of you are. I've name dropped you before. I would imagine that Tara is, and honestly, I would imagine that if Tara is one of the number one, it's because Turtles Forever is on just a coincidental hiatus right now because Rob's busy with other projects. But anyway, thank you. If it is you, Tara, thank you. I'm happy to at least try to fill that gap. And I would imagine that Nick Baxter maybe, but mainly the guys I've name dropped. And then also other guys, maybe Ryan over at Talking Snicked, and maybe Rob, maybe, I don't know. I know Rob listens because he mentioned some of the stuff, but thank you all. And then also, I think I was in like top 20 for quite a few people too. So, but who listens to more than 20 podcasts? I used to, but that's for the birds. But thank you all too. Thank you for listening. And also turns out, bluegrass music was like the number 3 favorite music of the people that listen to this, which I wouldn't have thought that anybody would like bluegrass. But if you want to, anybody on here listens to bluegrass and they want to have a discussion about bluegrass or something, I am happy to do that. Like if you want to get on here and just kind of wing it about bluegrass here for 15 minutes or so before we do a review, then I'm 20 minutes, whatever. I'm happy to do that. I didn't know that so many people like bluegrass, which number 2 or 3 out of 30 people. That's not too many people, but I thought I was podcasting to people that country music was the number 1, and I don't listen to country music much, but I wouldn't have thought that really anybody. But bluegrass is a very growing genre, though. Like I got out of the loop there for a while, but anyway, that's pretty cool. And then the other podcasts that some people listen to. Now, Joe Rogan was obviously on there. It's kind of like if you listen to podcasts, you're probably listening to his stuff. And then the Excellent Podcast, which is, I guess, another regular show podcast. I've actually listened to a few episodes of that. I've never talked to them guys before. I don't really even know them, but kudos to them. They're probably, I would imagine, more people listen to that show than this one, but that is the, I guess, the number 2 most listened to podcast for the people that listen to this, which is, I don't know, that's crazy. It's, maybe it's not crazy. It's like, it's similar interest, but I guess it makes sense because really only the people that like regular show probably listen to this, or the people that pity me, one or the other. I don't know.